Okay, where do you want the guys to start there, Bick? Just along the wall, do you think?
Yeah, sure. Probably work out the best.
Okay. Over there, you thinking?
Yeah, we'll start over here. Everyone come over here onto this wall here to your west when you are ready.
I think a Monty and maybe we might have a couple other stragglers. I'm not sure. We'll just hold on for a minute or two before we get started.
Okay. Just gonna get a link here real quick.
I just launched this off the mod admin. Made sure I closed it off. So let's see how it goes. Now I feel like law has to go through all these years.
Mm-hmm.
Is Lewis coming, Law?
I hadn't heard, babe.
Okay.
Except that one time we told you to unplug your router was probably a bad idea.
One thing I should know, only white smoke will actually give you cover and concealment.
Yellow does as well.
Oh, it does?
Yes.
Why don't we have that in the inventory?
I'll play a silly game, why don't we?
Space is an issue. There's only so much stuff we can carry.
Well, we got blue, green, and red smoke.
We'll be going over everything here in a few minutes.
Okay, because I know red is for a hot LZ, blue, normal landing zone, green, not sure.
Oh, to be Ranger qualified.
Push to talk.
When Talame has a silencer on his rifle. I love it.
This isn't a suppressor, this is actually my own Pepsi can. It shoots Ranger tabs filled with salt at the enemy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Win, are you almost here?
I'm loading in right now.
Isn't that weapon against the Geneva Convention?
The one that shoots Ranger tabs?
Yes, filled with salt.
It is, but you haven't seen anything yet. You don't see this. So we don't worry about it.
Amonte, are you in yet?
We don't follow the Geneva Convention here. It's okay.
That's right. We use AT4 to take out one person.
That's right, dude. That's how you do it.
Now, I remember that crap in basic when they told us you can't use an AT4 to take out a person. I'm like, bullshit. That's all I got. It's happening.
At least he won't feel it.
Pretty much. He'll be torn apart.
Vic, is this loadout not supposed to have a 152?
Which one?
The crew chief?
I think so. Monte, when can you both hear me?
Yep.
Alright, let's go head over onto that wall and just line up. Don't worry about grabbing anything just yet. Alright, since everyone's here, there is currently a just quick spreadsheet of everything that entails in the loadout. Obviously, you have pilot and co-pilot together. They're mainly going to be pretty much the same. Not going to be carrying anything different. The main things you really need to worry about carrying is rugged tablet, your IFAC. That way, in case you or yourself get pilot gets injured, you can always patch them up really quick. NVGs, flight helmet, your 117 radio, as well as your weapons, of course. Any US pistol really works if you really want to carry one, such as 1911, M9, etc. M4, we just really want to make sure that ammo is compatible throughout ourselves as well as Charlie Co. That way, if we get to them, we need ammo, they can always just hand over some to us when needed. I starred everything that's optional. Obviously, pistol, shema. Usually, pilots carry shema just for coverage or anything like that.
What is a shmog?
It's just a neck cover. I'll put one on real quick.
Never me.
I always thought it was a she-mag.
She-mag.
Ah, okay.
It's there to protect your neck from the airsoft BBs.
So now, everything here is it's how much you can carry, basically. So that's why we went with the kit bag, but it's also, we kind of want to stay relatively lighter. I mean, yes, you're not really going to be humping around doing 15-mile marches or anything, but you want to be realistic with what you're carrying and how much you are carrying. The main thing with the crew chiefs that's different from the co-pilot or co-pilot loadout is the saw. Now, in the back of the Blackhawks, at least, they usually carry a saw with a couple belts back there. That way, in case one of either the crew chief or door gunner's guns becomes inoperable or runs out of ammo, they can just quickly hop that over the gun and just use it from the door. However, you can't really do that with Ace or Arma, at least. So you're just going to have to go into the back of the bird and choose one of the seats where you can shoot out the side. And you can always switch in between depending on which side of the threat is on, etc. The only bad thing with that is that you're not really going to be able to use the intercom system. So that's why 343 radios are going to be pretty much standard on all of them. I know I use them a lot when communicating with, like, Lewis, for instance, when we're, like, refueling the bird, getting ammo resupplies, etc. The door gunner is mainly going to be your medic, your flight medic. They're just going to carry enough medical supplies to basically stabilize any patient that's on board. That's mainly going to be your main difference from there. Did I miss anything, Lindsay?
I don't think so. Yeah, just essentially the door gunner going forward is going to be acting more or having more of the medical supplies on him, whereas the crew chief is basically going to be like a Charlie Elements light machine gunner, I guess, basically, because he's a force multiplier. Should we get shot down, the door grunt, and we're having to defend a position, the door gunner will essentially become our medic. The crew chief will essentially become our saw operator.
And now these are just a base plate or a template of what you should carry, probably minimum. You can add in stuff like if you want to carry less mags, you obviously can.
Yeah, or more if you want to move stuff around or whatever. That's completely up to you. As much as possible, I just kind of want to have a base where everybody is more or less got the same thing. And then, I mean, if you guys don't like this optic and you want to use that optic, that's fine. Just as long as you can still do what we need you to do. One thing that I see that we're missing, I don't see it anywhere unless I'm just not noticing it, is that we don't have an entrenching tool.
Oh yeah, I actually didn't think about that one.
And the reason for that is just chances are if the bird goes down, we're going to dig in as close to it as we can, providing it's not going to explode and kill us. Just because if people come looking for us, they're probably going to look for where the bird went down, as our Mayday call suggests. That's where they're going to be looking for us. So I see there's an entrenching tool in the pilot-co-pilot kit bag, but I don't see one. Okay, yeah, I don't see any one in the crew chief or the door gunner, but I would suggest that probably everybody is carrying one of those, or at the very least, we have two of them minimum in the bird, so that two guys can be covering while the other two are digging us in.
User joined your channel.
But we don't push stuff down because I don't like doing that. I hate it when it's done to me. This is a discussion. So We want to try to get this right, and if anybody sees anything that we're missing or something they think that would be good that we should use, please bring it up.
I have a question.
Go for it.
Alright, so, and this is not me being a style queen by any means, but I do have a question of, is there any particular mechanical reason? Well, just bear with me. It's a very, very good question, and reason for it, okay? A very good reason for it, trust me, okay? But is there any particular mechanical reason why we are using the plate carrier that we're using and the uniform that we're using?
Those are, I believe, the uniform that's standard in our operations. I
Really?
believe so.
Okay.
If I remember correctly, it's this one. And the plate carrier, I didn't really see... It's hard to what I'm trying to say here. One, I feel like it looks good with the uniform. Two, I feel like it's pretty realistic to what pilots do carry. And three, there's different variants, so depending on who you are, you can carry more depending on what your role is.
Yeah, that's a good point, though.
Okay.
I've noticed that the heli pilot coveralls, the tan ones, that are 7th cab ones, actually will hold twice what a normal set of coveralls will carry. So, I mean, I like having the space, and because we don't have to hump ass all over the place, if we can use those at some point, I'd like to. Another thing is I really like the carrier special rig because the armor level on it is 5, and being up there at the front when there's fire coming in, I feel a little bit better, like our survivability is higher when we're wearing. We might as well wear as much armor as we can, both of us, because if one of us gets shot and the other one gets injured, at least they can grab the controls and fly away or get the bird safely on the ground. And I'd rather wear something with a higher armor level rating because mobility and fatigue aren't really that much of an issue for us. But that's just my 2 cents.
No, I agree. My recommendation was the SPCs, that they're level 4 armor. They're also multicam, which is standard with most uniform for pilots or crew members and stuff like that alike. So, but it's a high armor rating. It's actually got some of the highest ballistic protection rating as far as the in-game statistics go, and whilst remaining one of the lightest plate carriers available.
You're talking about the MBAV?
No, the SPCs. They're MS. I'm wearing it right now. I'm tabbed out right now, but it's the SPC. I'm wearing an SPC Rifleman one right now. I think there's 3 or 4 other variants.
Okay, I see it.
Yeah, and as far as the uniform goes, the only thing that I was talking about on the uniform was that it gives off an enormous heat signature. Whereas, like the uniform that I'm wearing, and I think I saw Mr. Adam wearing it, gives off no heat signature except for where the forearms and the face is exposed, if the face is exposed.
Now, I will have to second what Lindsay said about the tan coveralls that the 7th Cav came up with and developed, along with the plate. And the one thing I was wondering, why do we have a micro dagger radio programmer if we're not on TFAR anymore? I know it doesn't take up any weight hardly, but what's the use for it?
The micro dagger isn't necessarily a radio programmer. It's actually the
GPS.
Yeah, the GPS version.
No, I see the micro dagger GPS, but if you look down below where you have your map and the tablet, next to the compass, you have a micro dagger radio programmer.
It's
I
a
don't
GPS system.
That's
It's the same GPS system.
I think what he's trying to say is next to the rugged tablet and compass, I think he still has his TFAR enabled, so that's why you're probably seeing it.
No,
It's
my
just
TFAR's
another radio.
off.
Really? Huh.
Yeah.
No, there's 2 micro daggers. There's the actual GPS unit and the micro dagger, which you can connect to a vector and use it to target.
Okay.
Yeah. It also gives you the grid in 10-digit increments, 10-digit grid.
Copy that.
And the main thing we just want to take from this is just commonality is like ammo, your force multiplier, your crew chief, as well as your medical, which is your door gunner. It's just a what your base really want to have. If you, for instance, like Lindsay was saying, if you want to carry a different optic or you want to carry a different pistol or more ammunition, less ammunition, that's all up to you.
Okay. I was also wanting to ask about the colors, because I'm assuming since we have 3 of each to include or 2 of each chem light color that's with this, I was wondering what they do, other than red and blue, of course.
It's just a way to mark your positions to friendly, either air or other friendlies, to let them know that you are down to come get you.
What's green?
Green's generally, well, they all can mean anything, really. You're the one that's going to be confirming what they mean. Like, say, for instance, a buffalo sees red smoke. Tally, red smoke. Roger, friendly, red smoke. But usually green smoke is to mark friendly locations, red's to mark enemy, blues to mark pickup. But, again, you confirm what they mean.
Yeah, and I think Amonte was showing Sommerfeld that you can actually use them to look at a map in the dark, and they work as well or better than a flashlight does.
Yeah. He's actually the one that told me about it, I think. Yeah, I started doing that for my loadouts.
Yeah, go for it, Adam.
I don't know if your birds are having these, but maybe carry an explosive demo block in case you need to demo your bird into seer. And also IR grenades, and also flares.
I agree with all the above on that one, except I think it would only be necessary for one crew member to have the demo block, and then if he goes down, we just take it off his body.
Yeah, and to actually add on to the demo is that there's not a toolkit. You'll see that there's no toolkit put onto here. That's mainly because what I do with my birds is what I suggest with everyone, is putting a demo block or 2 inside the bird as well as the toolkit. That way, if say you land your bird successfully, like auto-rotate or anything, in the field, you can still repair it. But if you're at base, I believe the repair trucks now support having toolkits inside them.
Yeah, they said they were going to add that. I don't know if they actually have or not yet, but they said going forward, basically all the repair trucks were going to have a number of toolkits. I don't know if it was 10 of them or what it was, just because that's really the only place you need one.
Okay, that's cool. There really is a rainbow.
Oh, gotcha, Adam. Okay. I'll probably make another tab and put in bird or something like that on there. Yeah, exactly.
Anybody else? Going once? Going twice?
I would recommend, do we really need tracer rounds? I mean, assuming that we do an auto-rotation, we land, and we're having to shoot at the bad guys, whoever shows up that's not friendly to us, do we really want to shoot out red tracers?
Yeah, I don't know where to land on that one because...
the AI doesn't detect the red tracers.
You want one mag.
Oh, they don't detect it?
Yeah, the
a
AI
mag
don't
of red
detect
tracers,
tracers.
at least.
Okay.
The nice thing about having tracers is if you see a bad guy and just start putting fire on him, there's really no need for the 3Ds because people can see that you're shooting at someone and they can just start adding fire on top of you.
You have to remember tracers are every 5th round as well.
Yeah, we usually carry for Charlie Co. We usually carry four mags of tracers and 5 mags as non-tracers.
Okay.
Suppressors also hide your position when firing, as well as sound. AI don't detect sounds, but they do see flash. So putting a suppressor on, or a really good flash hider, but most flash hiders don't completely hide your muzzle flash, but suppressors do. And they don't hurt your weapon damage or impact or ballistics or anything. It doesn't change it because the ace team knew what they were doing.
I also have a question on the sidearm. Is there anything in the works to switch to what the actual army is currently switched over to, or in the process?
No, we don't have any of that because they switched over to the M17, other known as the Sig Sauer P3, whatever the fuck.
Yep.
And we just don't have that in Ace or not Ace, Jesus, RHS or any of the pistol packs yet.
Okay. Yeah, I was just wondering if there was something in the works for it.
I thought they were switching to the Glock 19X.
The Glock 19X, oh, that's a big controversy, and don't get me started on it, but they chose the SIG over the Glock.
Okay.
Long story short.
Gotcha.
I do love a SIG.
Personally, I carry the Glock because,
Oh, my boy.
Oh, Glock always.
That's right.
hey, I grew up shooting them.
I love
I
them.
grew up shooting SIG.
Alright. Any other questions?
Yeah, I actually have a question. On these loadouts, did you say they're pre-made at the arsenal?
Well, I laid out 5 of each over there. So if you you'll just take, in a few minutes here, you'll just pick them up, save them, and then you can drop them for the next person, or you can just always just keep it on. It's up to you. I can always drop more because I have them pre-saved.
Alright, copy.
Yeah, I tried saving. Unless there's an arsenal, I don't think there is a way for us.
I mean, basically, I just wanted to know, I mean, I guess maybe this is a stupid question, but do I need to literally strip down like I saw everybody else do to their underwear and then reload everything?
You don't personally have to, but I have a empty loadout saved just for stuff like this. It's just to reduce clutter over there. That way, the map won't eventually lag more.
Okay, so if I don't have that pre-saved, clean virgin loadout, so to speak, then I need to strip down.
It won't matter. It won't save anything whether you strip down or not because you're still going to have the stuff sitting there. So
Alright, copy.
It's a moot point.
Alright.
Alrighty. If that's it, or does anybody else have anything?
Just need a way to save it.
Well, there's an arsenal over there, so you should be able to.
Copy that.
Yeah. So the notes I have here are just, well, there's a couple different options for a different chest rig. We'll have to kind of shake that out. Probably want to include demo block, IR grenades, flare. We want to make sure we have some tracers, probably a minimum of 3 to 4, and also including a suppressor which will act to sort of hide the flash.
Actually, the door gunner and the pilot co-pilot, they both have 2 IR grenades. It's just the crew chief who doesn't.
Okay. Well, as long as we have some, that's fine. So it's just flares, demo block, and the chest rig, tracers, and the suppressor.
Yep.
Okay. That's good. Do you want to get these guys kitted out, maybe?
Sure. If everyone wants to follow me over here. So, we got... Come on, don't be shy. So red is going to be your pilot co-pilot. Green is going to be crew chief. And blue is going to be your door gunner. If everyone wants to go ahead, pick them up. First off, starting in accordance to your role within your section, go ahead and pick that up and then save it real quick.
Okay, how do you save it? I wasn't able to. It doesn't.
Right. Let me hop in the arsenal myself too. So you open up the Ace arsenal, click on loadouts. Whoa. Good job, Lindsay. I bet that was you.
Yeah.
No,
well,
that's just saying. I don't get arsenal. Only
You gotta do
inventory
that.
and settings.
Ace Interact.
Ace Interact, man.
Sorry.
Yep. Ace Interact, Arsenal. Go at the bottom, click loadouts. Type in a name for it. Pilot, crew chief, door gunner. And then just click save.
Copy that.
I think we need to put some serious thought into what Talon was saying about the uniform and the chest rig he's talking about.
Yeah, I personally, I think that Schmidt, I'm not sure if you know, but which uniform does Charlie usually run with in operations?
Pretty much what you see right here. I'm wearing. We run with the combat uniform, OCP, SPCS, rifleman, and the carry-all backpack MTP.
That uniform gives off a huge heat signature as well. The good thing about that uniform is you can get one with the first cav patch on it, but a big heat signature.
And which was the one that you're wearing, tell me?
It is the I can't remember the second number. G3, yeah. I keep wanting to say G8. The G3 uniform multicam.
Okay.
The only bad thing about it is that it doesn't cover your forearms, which gives off a heat signature as well, but it's better than your entire body.
Right, I'm not sure if AIs actually react to that or not.
They do, but I'm not sure if they definitely react to thermal signatures. But what I'm not sure of is if they react depending on like the size of it, like whether they just see a heat signature no matter how big or little, and they just react to it the same, or if it takes a certain size before they react to it. That's what I'm not sure about, but I know they react to it.
Right.
But in my opinion, better to have a smaller heat signature anyways, especially if we decide to bring back TBTs.
Well, we're hanging outside the door.
If anyone needs a more loadouts, just ask me. I'll drop them down in which one you need.
You said red was door gunner?
Red was pilot, co-pilot.
Oh. I was going to say there's a fucking M240.
Yep.
That's probably law.
That's for me.
Sorry, Adam. The ground up there is really uneven, and whenever I try to put it down, it just bursts into flames. So if you just want to fly it up there. There's going to be an Apache coming up your way, fellas.
Fun.
Okay, so just to confirm, the only thing that wasn't included in our preload here was the map, the watch, and the compass, right?
Correct.
Alright, copy.
So these pilot kits don't have a helmet?
They do. They're within the backpack.
The pilot kit has a
Okay,
banana.
my apologies. I'm sure this has already been asked. How do we save this loadout that we currently have?
Ace interact on the box closest to the kits. Go to loadouts, and then type in a name for it, pilot, co-pilot, etc. And then just click save at the bottom of that open.
Did anyone notice the pilot kit has a
Are we
banana?
allowed to go with the Beretta rather than the 1911?
Yep, it's just an AUS really issued sidearm. And Ham, was that a question you had, I believe?
Well, I mean, Ace Interact, that's the control in the Windows key, correct?
Mine is just Windows key.
Yeah, interact is the Windows key. I think self interact is the other keybind you were talking about.
Yeah, it's that one.
So you just hold down the Windows key when you want to interact with an object. And then you hold down control on the Windows key if you want to do Ace Interact yourself, like on your own person.
Okay, in the case of saving something, I understand hold down Windows key, but what am I aiming at to hold it down to?
Aim at the box, you'll see interactions, go to Arsenal, and then let go of it.
Oh, okay, I see now. And then just click.
Yeah. Once you're in there, you
save,
can
or-
save it and give it a name and save it. Just a name you can remember. And I mean, we're probably going to fiddle with these some more. They were just sort of to get a baseline and to get them out into everybody's hands, so we could go, okay, here's what we're thinking. What are we missing, or what should we change, or whatever. And I mean, I don't know if you Charlie guys want to take this with you and take it back, or if you want to just throw it away and not use it anymore, or it's kind of up to you.
Sure.
I meant our Charlie guys, not you. You obviously probably won't have a whole ton of use for a flight helmet, but if you want to hump it around the desert, then be my
I
guest.
would love to use a flight helmet.
Mm-hmm. Hey, it's your own ear protection.
Can someone drop the uniform that we're supposed to be using? Because I cannot find this damn thing in the arsenal to save my life.
Babe, go over there to where those X's are. Pick up some of up.
I didn't see any uniforms. I just saw the plate carriers and stuff.
There's uniform all over there.
What?
It's the clothes that are folded up.
Oh! Oh, okay, I'm a retard.
At least you're using push to talk.
Like yesterday.
That's true.
Last night.
Last night.
Push to talk.
By the way, I think
Vic, once you get everybody shaken out here, we're going to take 2 buffaloes. You can split guys up however you want. We want to go into LZ Alpha with them and use the Apache as an escort, obviously. Just to clarify for everybody, some of the stuff that out of the whole Apollo thing last week. Can you guys all hear me okay? And I don't want to do this while you're trying to do too many things and have somebody miss it. But is everybody good?
Send it.
Good. Yeah, it's just we're running tight on time here, so I want to try to combine as much stuff as I can. Okay, so as far as our basic LZ standard operating procedures, we're going to continue to conduct ourselves as we have in the past for our initial inserts. So Apollo will not be available for those, but will be available to coordinate as the front shifts and reinserts or cargo are required to be brought into the AO. So Apollo will be available, but not for the initial insert. We're going to have to look after that ourselves going forward, or continue to look after it. On the plus side, we have been sort of brought to the table in terms of the planning meetings. So that's kind of a positive result that's come out of this. And after talking to Major Walsh about it, he seems a little bit more comfortable with us having that in our hands anyway. Just because it seems like there's a lot of micromanaging that goes on when Apollo is involved, and that's probably best to just avoid for the initial stages till things on the ground are a little bit more sussed out. So, sorry, I know that kind of flies in the face of what happened last week, but again, it's clay, it's not cement, so. And that was all decisions that were made well above me. It's just that we found when we tried to actually put it in practice and shake it out that it didn't work, so we're not going to use it. With that in mind, I just wanted to go over the 7 S's. I don't know, some of you I think I've already discussed this with before, but I'll just run through it quickly again. So the 7 S's are size, shape, surroundings, surface, slope, sun, and security. So size is pretty straightforward. Is there enough room to accommodate the aircraft with some safety factor or margin for error? We're going with about 1.5 rotor lengths from another aircraft or obstacles. You can have something inside of that, but only on 1 out of 4 of the sides of the aircraft maximum. Ideally, though, you'd want to keep that 1.5 rotor lengths around the aircraft. Shape, again, pretty straightforward. Does the shape of the LZ favor an approach or departure from or to a certain direction? And what about favoring a certain formation? So if it's a long and narrow one, obviously something like staggered column will work fine and you can just stay in that. If it's a smaller box, for example, it might be a good idea to shift into diamond and have the leading aircraft land in the corner of the square. That way the 2 aircraft at the widest points have the widest part of the LZ, and as soon as the rear aircraft, if there's a 4th one, has its tail clear, he can just land. And he's got all 3 of them in front of him. Surroundings, what hazards do you have around the LZ? Tall trees, towers, wires, areas that could conceal an ambush QRF terrain. Like if there's a mountain on one side, obviously coming in from that side is not a good idea. Again, does it favor an approach or departure from or towards certain directions? Like you don't want to depart into a mountain because you're going to have to go basically vertically up and you're going to get your ass shot off. Surface. What hazards are on the surface of the LZ itself? Rocks, trees, bushes, even could there be IEDs, mines, burning vehicles, any of that stuff? Hazards that exist to the aircraft right on the surface. Then continuing with surface, you have slope. So is there a slope to the LZ? And if so, can the aircraft land safely while it's on approach? And if not, can you do a pedal turn once you're inside the LZ to make it safe and land into the slope? This kind of refers back to size. How much room do you have for these aircraft to maneuver in there? If you have a really tight LZ and you have a slope that's not favorable, you might want to go someplace else. Sun. Approaches into the sun obviously are best avoided. Ideally you want it 90 degrees to your left or your right. If it's quartering from the front or from the rear, it can reflect off textures, especially from the rear inside, and blind you at a critical moment if you have to make a pedal turn to get your tail around a tree or a bush or something. And then the last thing is security. And with security, we're not just talking the LZ, although we are talking the LZ in terms of like if there's enemy forces in or around there, or if there's a really effective place that could be hiding. But it's also the UH-60 itself. Can anybody tell me what the two best areas in terms of clock position you could use to ambush a Black Hawk from?
In my opinion, would be 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock.
Okay, but if I'm at 3 o'clock or 9 o'clock, I'm going to be looking at you or Lewis, and I've seen you guys shoot those 134s, so I don't think I want to be there.
I'd say probably 12 and 6.
Yeah, 12 and 6 are in my opinion, the two most vulnerable spots for a few reasons. First, you have those two big mushy pilots up at the front. If you can hit or kill them, that endangers the aircraft pretty significantly. The other thing is if it's coming straight at you or flying away from you, you don't have to worry about leading it. You can basically just point your gun at it and start emptying the rounds and just aim a little low and your rounds will climb up. At the back of the aircraft, obviously, you have the tail rotor, and if you can get some effective fire on it, obviously that's a good way to endanger the aircraft. And then another reason is the guns can't really effectively target 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock. They can a little bit, but not effectively. So anywhere from 1 to 5 or from 11 to about 7, the guns can do something, but 12 and 6, they really can't. So with that in mind, I just want the pilots to keep in mind about, how do you position the aircraft when you land? We should probably face the guns towards an area we suspect there might be a threat from, and this is the most important for the flight lead because you have to pick where everybody's going to go and try to worry about security, not just of your aircraft, but for everybody. And the most mutual support you can give, the better.
It's okay. In the event you guys get ambushed, us Charlie guys will deal with it.
Yeah, I'm very reassured. Okay, if you guys are ready, Buff 1 and Buff 2, you guys can load up. The Blackhawks are out this entryway and to the left. Bickford will get you guys squared away.
Let's go ahead and probably pop on our acre once we get to our birds too.
Yeah, we'll flip on that and let's use channel 1-4 for the long range.
Oh, I already told them 6. It's okay.
Oh, okay. Sorry, 6 it is. Sorry, I wasn't watching on the screen.
Gosh, Lindsay, you're supposed to do like 5 things at once. Come on.
Well, the problem is if I'm looking at one monitor, the other one doesn't refresh, and I was out of the game, tabbed out. So.
Yeah.
Pre-check.
Yep. Go ahead and proceed with your DIs. Yep, Adam, we're going to be on channel 6.
Left side good. Ham, you need to dismount.
Alright, let's go ahead and pop on our acre too.
Roger.
A radio check.
Alright. Radio check, channel 6, 117, buff 2.
Lima Charles. This is Shepard, radio check, channel 2.
Shepard, we're on channel 1. We're buff 1.
Copy that.
Alright guys, you're cleared to mount.
This is Shepard, radio check, channel 1.
Leave Charlie.
Lima Charlie. Well, now I know Acre is working.
Yeah.
This whole time, the whole entire briefing, I thought you guys had Acre on, so I was like, I can't.
What channel were you on the,
This is Radar 1, spoon up for hover and stability check.
343 is going to be channel 1.
Copy that. Shepard, radio check on 343.
Leave Charlie. Alright, Shepard, just confirm that you can grab controls.
I can.
Alright, Raj. It's buff 1, currently on pad 3. Go ahead and spool up for stability check.
Buff 2, doors are open, Squirrel.
Buff 2 should be on channel 2 for the 343.
Alright, copy.
I think some people miss shack tacking.
Buffalo 1, split check complete, holding on pad 3.
I do not.
Let 2 copies. We're going to spill up and do our stability check.
Roger that. Raider 1, Buffalo 1, you copy flight plan black and flight plan green, as well as BPs, over.
Buff, this is Raider, tally.
Hey, Ham, go ahead and shack tack on us.
Roger, we're just going to be heading to LZ Alpha for a quick flight over there and head back. Raider 1, if you want to go ahead and fly up to BP Frag and scout out the LZ for us, that'd be great.
Raider 1 understands all. Raider 1 lifting.
Buff 2, now real quick on the map, what are the different colored lines mean, so that I know?
Alright, so, basically, hold on, I guess I'm going here. Alright, buff 2, buff 1, ready? Two, this is 1, you ready?
Yep, this is 2, we're good to go.
Roger that, we'll be flying flight plan black to BP, to HP Sabo, once Raider has gone to BP Frag.
2 copies, follow your lead.
Roger, lifting from pad 3, let's go ahead and maintain a staggered. Buff 2 lifting. Alright, so Shepard, this is going to be part of your flight planning with your advanced rotary.
Okay.
2, this is 1, I'm just going to hold 150 speed at approximately 100.
150 at 100, 2 copies.
And I'm going to be flaring here real quick for the HP. One's holding at approximately 90 off the deck.
2 copies 90. Give me just a second and I'll be set.
Copy, one set. So, with your flight planning, it's part of your advanced rotary. You've taken your advanced rotary, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So, you're
This is 2, we're set.
Tally. So, you're going to mark a primary, a secondary...
Buffalo Flight, this is Raider. We got heat SIGs at the LZ. Permission to engage.
Raj, Raider 1, go ahead and engage. Buffalo Flight's going to be inbound in approximately 30 seconds when you're clear, over.
Raider 1 sends guns.
You're going to mark a primary ingress, a secondary ingress, and you're going to mark an exfil, as well as any BPs, HPs, and bullseyes. Your BPs is going to be where your attack rotary goes. Your HP is where your transport birds are going to hold out in case something goes wrong, such as right now. I personally like when Raider goes and scouts out the LZs.
Raider 1, rifle.
Copy, Raider 1, Buffalo Flight, copies rifle. Because I like to know when the LZ is green or not. I'll get with you after this and we can talk more on that if you want.
I think I got it.
Yeah, you basically want to mark. You want to use terrain as much as you can for your BPs, your HPs, as well as your ingress and exfils.
Yeah. Now, how would you figure out your relation to the bulls, or from the bulls to yourself?
So right now, I'm gonna check.
Buffalo Flight, Raider, LZ's clear.
Copy, Raider 1, Buffalo Flight's inbound on flight plan black to LZ Alpha. 2, this 1 nose down.
2 copies, nose down.
Let's go ahead and maintain a staggered column on approach here, as well as a landing.
2 copies.
Buffalo Flight, 30 seconds, pop smoke. And 2, this is 1 we're flaring.
No smoke seen.
Yep, Raj. I kind of messed that up.
Buffalo Raider, we got movement to your 12 o'clock, engaging guns.
Left side, light them up.
Coming from the northwest. More north.
1 down. Stand by.
2's down.
Copy. 2, this is 1, we're lifting outbound to the west.
Following your lead, 2's up.
Raider 1, Buffalo Flight RTB.
Buffalo Flight Raider, we're on your 12 o'clock, follow you in.
Two, this is 1, you guys all green over there?
Yep, roger, 2, we're all green.
Copy that.
Raider set.
Copy, Raider set. Buffalo 1 is currently holding at about 180. Speed, height is about 80.
Right now, we're just trying to catch up with you.
Copy that, I'll slow her down to 160.
2 copies, 160. Okay, that's new. No, but you were saying about the bulls to yourself. How do you find that out?
You basically just estimate the distance as well as the bearing. FOB Cold Blood, this is Buffalo 1, flight of 3, 2 times UH-60s, 1 H-64 inbound for pads 2 and 3. One, wheels down, pad 3, engine coming off. Crew dismounting. Clear to smart.
This 2, we're wheels down, spooling down.
Copy that. Let's go ahead and just regroup at the station. You good, Win? Hold still, hold still.
He must have cut his leg on one of the seats.
You have a tourniquet on your left leg, dude.
Oh, well, yeah, it kept bleeding, so I had to stop it somehow. Did something just...
That was the Raider.
But yeah, bandage keep coming off, and it just kept bleeding twice, so I had to stop it somehow.
Raj. Who's left in the bird? Oh, no one, never mind. Alright, let's go and meet back up.
1, this is 2, confirm, no survivors from Raider.
Copy that. Alright, gents, let's go ahead and meet back up by the ammo boxes for our debrief here. Stand by, Win. I'll get you. Alright, guys, take her off.
I should have called out earlier in the bird that my leg hurts.
Hey, can I get a ZCO, please?
Yep, I got you guys.
Because I survived the crash.
Should be healed there now.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, you can't land on this stupid concrete anywhere.
When you're healed.
Actually, you caught your tail on that ridge there.
Ooh.
Thank you.
Did it hit the ground?
Yeah, you were just flaring. You weren't flaring very much, but your tail just caught on that ridge just ever so slightly, but it was enough. I guess it was enough. It didn't look that bad, but
It's weird how you died and I survived. Weird.
Oh, I survived. I just respawned.
Oh, fair enough.
okay. So, I guess we'll just do a quick AAR here, and we'll start at the bottom, move to the top, and we'll skip me. Tell me.
No, I don't have anything to add. It's good.
Okay, Drake.
Nothing, Dad.
Okay, Ham.
I would just say we did some logistics. It took a lot of time to get that squared away, but a little more action would have been cool. Good job.
Yep, I agree. I'd like to get to the point where we're just flying for the entire hour, but unfortunately with Acre and some of this other stuff, it's throwing a bunch of snags in and stuff we already had sussed we kind of have to recover. But we're pretty much to the end of it now, I think, or I hope. So shouldn't be an issue.
Yes, sir.
Ham?
I'm done.
The ham is done. All right.
Where?
Shep?
Maybe add tablet training, because I know for certain I don't know how to use it. I'm fairly certain everyone else does. But, like, how to use it while you're in the aircraft flying.
Yeah, for sure. There's keybinds for it. They're in the options. I think, I don't know if they're in the advanced add-on options or where they are, but there are
Control
some
H
keybinds.
might bring it up.
Yeah, I think it defaults to Control H and Shift H for me. I think that's where it defaults. I don't think I changed those, but you can bring up two different sized ones when you're in the aircraft. A great big one that's pretty effective if you're the co-pilot and you're running radios and navigating. And then if you're flying, you can bring up a smaller version of it, so it's just over in the corner, almost like a dagger is.
How do you do that?
I think I have it keybound. Shift H is one and Control H is the other. I can't remember which, but if you look for it in the options, you should be able to find it and just set those keybinds up. And if you can't, just come find one of us and we'll sort you out. Is that all, Shep?
Yeah.
Coolio, Winnie?
Let's see. I feel caught up. I got my Acre working, and I feel bad that I was bleeding all over the back of Bickford's helicopter.
Do you guys take casualties in your bird?
Well, he didn't say that he got shot.
No, he cut himself on the seat. There was like some kind of nail or like a broken piece of metal or some shit that like slit the back of his knee. That's what happened.
I don't think I got shot, but my leg was bleeding, and it just kept bleeding, and so I was just like,
Yeah,
okay.
it said he had a bruise, so I wasn't really sure.
If you are injured or something, it's probably a good idea just in the intercom even to let the rest of the crew know, because if you suddenly go unconscious and they don't know, not everybody can see you unless they swing their head around. And if they're busy and they get task saturated, it's just a good idea to say, okay, I'm hitting the leg and I'm bandaging. Just even so they know the gun on that side is down.
I'll keep that in mind, because I was just, they were busy and we were getting shot, they were returning fire, and I'm like, okay, I'm just in the passenger seat, I'm just going to mend myself up, but not much I can do with just a tourniquet and a bunch of bandages. Because the blood kept flowing until I put the tourniquet on.
Yeah, but you put the tourniquet on first and then you bandage, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
Nope.
Law?
Negative.
Icky Bicky?
Other than the fact that, I think I feel like we probably should, stutter on my words here.
Use your words!
I can't English!
Spit it out, son.
I feel like we did take a little bit longer than what we expected to go over the loadouts and logistics part of that. But other than that, I think it was well done.
Yeah, and it's well worth doing because we need to sort it out and get it in for our SPs and our ops because it will save us time down the road. So it's worth doing. It's not finished, but we're that much closer to having it finished now.
Yep, always good to do.
We tried to get something in quick at the end there. I probably should have put some more opposing force in. I didn't know the Raider would do such a good job of shredding them. I was going to put some more in, but I didn't want to kind of overdo it. And I didn't want you guys getting stuck in there either because I didn't want it really being over an hour, which we're just hitting now. So I'm going to keep going. Bickford, did you have anything else?
No, nothing else.
Okay, Amonte.
Nothing to add.
Okie dokie. Summer.
So we've been talking about uniforms for what seems like forever now and trying to do a loadout, so awesome job on the spreadsheet, and thank you guys. I'm glad we finally got to sit down and actually have all that figured out. That probably took a little long, but when else are we all going to get together and be able to talk about this type of stuff when we're not, we don't have 45 seconds to load a bird and try to get ready before an op. So thank you guys for the patience. Had fun. Thanks for everybody that came out. I thought the LZs went good. The crew, as soon as we lifted off, I asked for a report, made sure everybody was up. Everybody was good and responsive inside the bird, let me know that they were green. So thank you guys, and I'll shut up now.
I'm going to need that in writing. Schmitty.
Yeah, it was fun. I got to actually be in an Apache and test those controls out, so that's cool.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of fun. Except
you got the 30
that little
millimeter.
crash, that's good.
Yeah. It's a 30 on the Apache, isn't it, or is it 20?
It's 30.
I thought it was 30. Yeah. Okay, good.
So definitely, I think we should pack those around as infantry, and we would be good.
Yeah, just put them in your back pocket.
But no, I had good. It was fun. Nice to attend. Definitely see how you guys plan your LZs and all that good stuff. So cool.
Yeah, for sure. And it's still a work in progress. It's not quite nailed down yet, but we're getting a little bit better at it every day. Our teeth and our claws get just a little bit sharper.
From your channel.
Adam?
Yep, just a few things. The administrative stuff, like going over the loadout, it's necessary. I know it takes time, but maybe some critique, bite your tongue, let these guys get through what they're trying to do on these loadouts, and that gives you more time to fly. Second, your boss here is teaching ground school and basic rotary class, so you guys should attend those. That's it.
Coolio.
That's going to be a tally win. That's going to be required for door gunners and crew chiefs.
Yeah, it's going to be required sooner or later, and I was going to say if you have some free time, it's going to be on the 29th. It's ground school and basic rotary, and it sure wouldn't hurt. Like, I'd like all the crew chiefs and gunners to have it, just so you know what the process is, because there are going to be times where you have to jump in on the radio, and the more comfortable you are with all the process, the easier it is for you to jump in. Plus, the more you know about how it all works. I mean, I know you guys already know for the most part, but there's probably going to be a couple things that come up where you're like, oh, that's why we do it that way.
It's some good shit. It's good training.
Yeah, sure. Hebert, are you here?
Always.
Anything to add?
Nothing to add. Talk to you all later.
See you, Chief.
Yep.
See you, Chief.
See you, Chief.
No, I'm not leaving. I'm just saying after SB, you'll pull you guys aside, the leaders of this SB.
Okay. Toli, do you want to go before me or after me or what?
I'll go after you.
Okay.
Don't forget Tallywhacker.
Oh, did I forget?
What?
I started with him.
Buddy disconnected from your channel.
Oh yeah, you got me.
Oh,
I didn't have nothing to add right now.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. The comms were pretty good. We didn't have a lot of time. You guys were pretty rushed, but I thought you guys did a really nice job. Raider did a good job of prepping the LZ. The only thing the flight I think you guys could have done before you went in was just confirm with Raider where the hostile part of the LZ was. It probably would have been good to know that, so you would know how to position the birds. Buffalo 2, you were a little bit slow on approach, so you guys weren't landing together. Your spacing was a little too wide apart. You need to tighten that up. I know it's tough when there's gunfire and all that kind of crap to tighten up, but you got to be brave. Plus, if you're closer together, you have more mutual support, and you'll land and take off faster. An alternative, too, would be that one of the buffaloes could circle and cover and try to figure out where the fire is coming from while the other one lands, and you guys could assess that out amongst yourselves. These are very minor critiques because everything was pretty good. And I think that's all I have.
I do have one thing to add on that, Lindsay.
Yeah.
Like you said on the orbit, personally, just a thought. I feel like that would be good, like if we didn't have a raider, which we won't always have a raider.
Yeah,
Won't
exactly.
always have.
Yeah.
I guess the thing I was getting at was there was a lot of fire coming out of the buffaloes, and none of it went anywhere near the EI.
Right.
So it was pretty clear that the buffaloes had no idea where the threat was. neither the crew nor the pilots. So if you don't know where the threat is, how do you position the aircraft? How do you get fire effectively on it? And if the radar's got eyes on, that's a resource you got to use. And if you're not going to use it, then landing with both of them, I mean, how do you know you're not flying into a horseshoe full of them down that end?
Right, gotcha.
So yeah, again, I'm not pointing fingers or critiquing. It's just, it's food for thought. I'm trying to get your guys' brains going just so that you're thinking of this stuff, because you know, you won't have an old fat guy like me around to needle you about it forever. And yeah, I think that's all I had. So totally.
I'm sorry, gentlemen. I gotta run. I'll see y'all later.
See you all.
See you, buddy.
See you a lot.
Gentlemen, good job on your SP tonight. I was not in it, but I did monitor it from where I was sitting. Just remember, make sure you keep an eye out on those operations. There's a couple coming up next weekend. Those 2 classes are very important as well. For a gunner course, ground school will be required, as well as excuse me, as well as basic land nav and BRCC whenever they start running it again. That's all I have for the rest of the evening, but good job, gents.
Coolio, thanks. And Totally, did you want to dismiss them, or?
Nope, you can dismiss them this time.
Okay, you guys are dismissed if you want to hang out and visit. I'm going to have a beer, but thanks for coming. Charlie, guys, thanks for showing up, and it has been a slice.
Totally upstairs, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Buddy left your channel. User was moved out of your channel.
Well, I'm going to go grab a beer. You guys can do whatever the hell. Well, I haven't decided. I have about 8 or 9 different ones to choose from. Most are German. There's a couple of Austrians.
Ooh, very nice taste.
What the hell else is in there? I don't even know. I'm a terrible beer fridge person. I should be able to know all this, but my head's kind of swimming with all the information. My poor little brain will only hold so much.
Well, you can't tell with good German beer.
This is true.
Yeah, I want to say, actually, I do know. I have 2 from Iceland, and I think 2 Danish. And right now, everybody's making a